Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today's honored guest is Chris McCarthy, zooming in from Yorba Linda. Chris is the founder of McHammer Marketing, Inc., and a fractional chief marketing officer for e-commerce small businesses. He focuses on helping direct-to-consumer retail brands with their online sales through digital marketing and executive leadership. He has helped build several 7- and 8-figure brands to successful exits. Chris, welcome.
Thank you, Danny. Happy to be here as a member of the Orange County Power Players Club.
There we go. So tell us a little bit about how you started McHammer Marketing and what you did before that led to that.
I love that you call it McHammer Marketing, and it is. It's also McHammer Marketing because of my last name, McCarthy. But either or is completely fine. It's certainly a play on MC Hammer.
Right.
My kids, when I was young, used to call me MC Hammer. I turned my company into McHammer Marketing. Yada yada.
There you go. Yeah, remember the pants? MC Hammer used to do the dance.
Exactly. You can't touch this.
Pants.
You can't touch this.
Right. There you go.
So I took that spin off of it and just kind of went with it. I've had that for about 8 years, and then I've been in digital marketing professionally for about 15. So I was working in quite a few roles for different corporations, and then I just decided to start my own agency to service as many brands as possible and kind of go in my own direction rather than the traditional 9 to 5. And here we are since about 2017. I've ridden the wave and seen it all when it comes to e-commerce, because e-commerce, is, I would say it's still in early times, right? Like it's grown quite a bit and it's matured. It's not up in its startup phase that it once was when I started. When I started in digital marketing, like Google Ads was simply text search ads. There was nothing else. There was no shopping ads. There was no image ads, or Facebook ads didn't even have a pixel to track your sales and your conversions and stuff like that. So I started, in the early days of digital, when websites were just being built and people were just starting to come around. And now, we're in a completely different era, right? With Amazon and Walmart and everything else like that. I help e-commerce as a whole, but I definitely specialize in working with Shopify, which is the #1 platform for merchants and brands and product founders to sell their gear on.
So does that mean that somebody who either has a Shopify store or is thinking of opening one gets a hold of you and you basically build it out for them? And do you find the products that they sell to, or do they have to do that on their own? Or how does that look like when somebody's thinking of doing it?
Yeah, great question. I help them with all of that, with the exception of the concept and the creation and the manufacturing of the product. So that usually comes from the founder themselves, in terms of whether it's a new innovative idea, a new invention, or a patent that they have received, and then we take it from there. I definitely lead the marketing and sales, but yeah, I've done it in both capacities, to where a brand is doing 6 figures or 7 figures, and I help them get to the next level. But I've also been the CMO of brands where we started from scratch, from a Kickstarter crowdfunding phase, and grew it to multiple 8 figures, to exit and so forth and so on. So I've worked at a number of different capacities where, I'll work as the CMO and manage everything. Or sometimes brands need help with a specific channel, like paid advertising or email and SMS marketing, and I can fill gaps in those areas as well. So sometimes agencies will work with in particular settings, but yeah, I'm able to help them wherever they need.
Okay, so that, to make sure that I understand, so if you wanted a Shopify type of a store, you can help them with that.
Oh yeah, I can help them with that, and we can develop and design and optimize your Shopify store, even if you don't have one, or we can improve your current Shopify store.
And if somebody, let's just say it's a service business, right? They don't have an online store, but they have a service business where they're, I don't know, let's just say HVAC company, right? They work on AC units in homes,
Yep,
and so they need some advertising, because I guess social media is the place to go now, right, for advertising.
right.
So you go there and you build their paid advertising campaigns, and you figure out how to track the different ads, see which ones perform better, and you're able to channel more potential clients, I guess, to their website, and hopefully to a sale.
Exactly, exactly. I can do that as well. I used to focus more on service-based industries in the past, whereas I focus more so on physical retail products now, but I still do both.
Now, how about if somebody has, say, Amazon store or Walmart stores? How does that work? Do you also help them with that? Is there tricks to that, I guess, or things
Oh
to
yeah.
do or not
Oh
to
yeah,
do?
that's the million-dollar question there. They can work together and they can work in silos as well. I've worked with it in different from different sides to where we start with Shopify and we start for with direct to consumer. You build that out and then you list on Amazon. You grow your sales on third party marketplaces, as
Mm-hmm.
well as currently what I'm doing is I'm working with a company that has built very successfully actually across Europe, the European Union and UK and the US, and is Promix, for example, is the number one shaker bottle in Europe.
Mm.
A lot of that has been based upon wholesale. We're in over 15,000 stores worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
We do a ton of sales on Amazon every month, and D2C on Shopify was their smallest sales channel. So now I'm building up Shopify as a another source of income, another sales channel. Whereas usually brands will start with their website in Shopify and then
Mm-hmm.
build on 30-party marketplaces on Amazon. So there's correlation and they overlap in terms of customers and your marketing strategy.
Right.
But there are specialists for each space, certainly.
Now, from my understanding, there's people like you said, the companies that come up with a product. They invented it, they created it, they patent it, and they go out to market and they sell it. How about people that don't do that, but want to find other products? They're just kind of kind of retail, so they buy wholesale and sell retail. Do you do those as well? And are those worth doing?
Um, in certain capacity, usually like product sourcing and manufacturing and working with suppliers, it's is a whole separate job. It's I don't usually take that role or that capacity because it's almost like there's two different personality types in a sense to where
Mm-hmm.
people that are product founders, they're usually not marketers and marketing operators, whereas marketing and sales operators and are usually not um, product sourcing or conception of product, just because something about in our mind to where like I find that we're just two completely different types of people.
So that's why we need one of each, one of each to make
You
it
do,
happen.
yeah, exactly. Like your CEO and your CMO, for example, are going to have completely different mind frames, right?
Hmm.
In terms of where they're coming from and how they grow the business, but they have to meet in the middle to be successful.
Right, right. You need both of them, and both of you guys would be experts in it,
Right.
and that's how you create, like, you cover it all. Basically, it's the idea.
Yeah, you really do. And then you need to build out teams and different systems and tools and e-commerce. My goodness, I don't know how to put it into words, Danny, but it's as complex as it's ever been. In a certain sense, I feel as if it's the most complex business type there is in the world. I say it jokingly, but a part of me believes it because it's as complex as the internet, right? The internet has
Mhm.
this infinite amount of complexity. So when you're trying to build this business, whether it be D2C and Shopify or it be Amazon and Walmart and retail, like you have this whole world that you need, this big puzzle that you need to solve, because you have the complexity of the digital elements, but then you
Mhm.
also have the boots on the ground, right? You have the logistics, the shipping,
Right.
the tariffs, the
Yeah.
exports, the in stores, like the picking and packing, and all of
Mhm.
these things have to come together. So
Yeah.
whereas in the past you didn't have this, right? You had
Mhm.
your store, your brick and mortar, you had Sears, like whatever it was, and so
Right.
it was a little bit more straightforward. Whereas with e-commerce, everything is changing, and you have to self-educate yourself constantly. So it's somewhat of the Wild Wild West, because there's no set credential, right? There's no set
Mm-mm.
degree of, hey, you've earned this, you've got this PhD in e-commerce, and now you're more established than everybody else. It doesn't even exist. You literally have to just keep on top of the evolving trends and practice them in different settings to be that expert. And then what worked a couple years ago isn't working now.
Right.
So I joke with like my other friends and other marketers and stuff, are like, why didn't we pick why didn't we start our own HVAC company? Why didn't we
Right.
do a roofing company, like, or learn this trade that's going to last 30 years? It's like we
Right.
have to just be in school all the time.
No, no, that's what I was going to tell you, is that the minute you think you figured it out, you didn't, because
It's
that was yesterday and today's
Yeah.
something different, right?
Yep.
And you're right about having a say like a roofer or an electrician or a plumber. I mean, it doesn't change much. Right. The way
Exactly.
you do things, you might have a little bit different changes, maybe a little bit of new product every once in a while come in, or maybe a new code changes. But for the most part, plumbing is plumbing, electricity is electricity.
Exactly. I have a couple cousins that are electricians, their own electrician company. They do really well, and it's like, I don't, I hope that they don't have the stress that I have of keeping up with the industry.
Right. Now, is it safe to say there's like not one spot that you can go to gather and learn new information? It's like scattered, coming from all kinds of different places all at once, kind of a
It's
thing?
scattered. It's scattered everywhere. The tips and the tricks are scattered, and then what works for certain niches and brands doesn't work for others. So
Hmm.
you're constantly testing. We're almost like scientists in a lab,
Right.
trying to figure out how to generate as much profit as possible.
Hmm.
Because selling to a certain degree with certain products can be very easy, whereas
Hmm.
selling them profitably can be extremely difficult, because the cost of running e-commerce profitably is the risk is very high, because of advertising costs, because of shipping costs, because of it just expenditures with the team and operating costs, like, and it was a little bit easier between 2015 and 2021, and then
Hmm.
after inflation and everything, just the as the prices of everything else skyrocketed, so
Right.
did the
Right.
prices of all the online costs did as well.
Right. Right. Now you have a really new, well, I don't want to say new, it's old, but it's like on fire right now. AI, this new tool that just produces and produces and massively produces.
Oh yeah.
How do you keep up with that? And how are you guys using that to implement, and how you guys create automations and things that you do in the advertising industry?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I keep I follow different variations of AI and how AI modeling is molding our future, and obviously it has a lot more to do with outside of just e-commerce or online businesses, but
Hmm.
within the retail and the digital space, I think for the most part you'll see a lot of it being spoken about when it comes to creatives and how it's going to replace a photographer or a videographer, and it's going to create all the creatives for us. While I don't believe that to be necessarily true, as in the sense to where we're still going to need people to with cameras and cameras and video and creating video and so forth and so on. It's filling in certain pieces of the pie, and you can use separate tools to create things that will help you generate customers and sales. The aspect that I like of it is the tech aspect in terms of tracking data and tracking visibility and optimizing sales. Because since Apple released their iOS 14.5 update, which is a privacy update, which keeps a lot of the data private, that we were able to optimize from and make our jobs a little bit easier. There's a lot of issues when it comes to data tracking online, where there'd be like cookie settings on browsers or attribution windows or privacy settings, to where, especially in Europe, right? In Europe, they're very sensitive with their data, and you cannot do certain things. You can only do it in certain windows. So I'm using certain AI tools now that are able to identify some of your website visitors for you to be able to market to them accurately and in an effective way. Obviously, this has to be compliant and so forth and so on, but it's just simply a matter of being able to convert more people into your email or SMS list, or being able to show people the correct ads when they're on social or Google or whatnot. And AI is helping us do this. It's sort of overcome some of the data privacy challenges that we're having in the digital age.
Yeah, and I think you also have to do, I guess, a lot of testing to see what works better as you guys are creating your strategies, right?
Yeah, it's constant testing in e-commerce and in lead generation, like HVAC companies and roofing and so forth. Like, there's testing, but it's not as complex. Like I've always said, and other people understand that, marketers in e-commerce have to be a lot more skilled than ones that are selling physical product, rather than just generating leads for service-based companies. Because I've generated millions and millions of leads, right? So for me to promote and do all the marketing for a company that needs their contact info, and then they close the sale once they're on site, that's a lot easier to do as a marketer. In contrast, when in e-commerce, we're doing the marketing and the transaction, right? They're pulling out their credit card on the site. There's no middleman. There's nobody that's going to close the sale. The marketers are closing the sale. So you have to be a lot more skilled, and you have to test a lot more in order to determine how can I get more customers at a more profitable rate. And the testing is widespread, whether it be on the website, it be in ads, it be in landing pages, it be in creatives and banners and angles and hooks. Like, it's just endless.
Right. So it would seem that if you do the marketing correct, that the sale happens on its own, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Getting them through what do they call them? The funnels and the correct.
Yeah. Your life cycle funnels and your full funnels. I mean, you have top of funnel and middle of funnel and bottom of funnel, and you're testing these different elements to determine, how do I get more people through the bottom of the funnel in various ways. Where with service-based companies and lead generation, you're just getting them through the top of the funnel. You're just getting their interest and their contact info, and then there's a sales guy, or there's a sales team, or then it's their job. Yeah.
And those, I would believe, the audience for those doesn't really change much, because typically, say for HVAC, would be a homeowner, right? So
yeah, exactly. I used to do a lot for the gyms, and just focusing on getting people into the store and getting to call or getting to their email, and it was like, okay, we're focusing on these type of people. But you're, in a certain sense, you have to do that with your own retail brand. You have to sell. You have to really understand your customers at a personal level. Because otherwise, like I said it recently, to where if you're trying to sell your products to everyone, you're selling to no one. It's like, this is what you're selling. These are the people that you're selling it to.
Right.
You need to express that in a certain way.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. If you're selling to everyone, you're selling to no one.
Yeah.
Because your product isn't for everybody.
No, you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose everybody. Can't make everybody happy. Yeah.
And you would also probably be spending a lot of money on your ad campaigns, and they're kind of diluted, right? Because if somebody who's not in the market for that sees it, then you just wasted that money.
Yeah, exactly. Or your Apple or Microsoft or something,
Right. Oh, but yeah. That's them, and this is us, right? We're like the
Right.
fry here, just hunting.
Yeah.
And so how long, let's say somebody reaches out to you, how long does it take them to, or you guys to figure out and be basically up and running in the ads? Or like, somebody has a product and they say, okay, I need you, Chris, to come out and help me create something. So from 0 to 60 and be running ads and seeing the results of that. How long does that usually take?
It usually takes anywhere between 30 and 90 days. But even within the first 30 days, we usually have ads up and running, or we're editing ads or changing ads. We're optimizing the site. We're working on a number of different things on a number of different channels with a number of different teams. Either I get my team to help, or I work with their in-house teams. So I kind of fill in
Hmm.
the gaps with what they need. But
Hmm.
it can be as quick as 30 days. We can be up and
Hmm.
running. I think everything in e-commerce is evaluated on a month-to-month basis and then on a quarterly
Hmm.
basis. People like to look at daily and weekly, but you can drive yourself nuts
Right,
because there's
right.
all this data coming in, and I made money today and I lost money tomorrow, but you have to look at monthly and then quarterly to understand the trends and directions and decisions to make.
Now, do you also, are you involved with, say, filming for the ads? Do you want, maybe the founders or somebody advertising the product, or is it all digital where you don't need live people to be filmed?
We want live people to be filmed. We want models and photo shoots and videography and storytelling. A lot of it is what we call UGC, which is user generated content. So the
Hmm.
customer will provide it on their own self will. It's sometimes it's as simple as just their iPhone. I'm using this, and it's all you see it every day on
Right,
social. Right?
right,
I'm using this product. I love it, and we can advertise that as ads, or we use influencers to create their own UGC and new videos. So you need different variety of content in different formats, because
hmm,
one format of content doesn't work as well as the other format of content, depending
right,
on the platform, whether it be TikTok or Meta or Google or YouTube or whatnot. And then the user needs to see, they need to see sort of this like unpolished iPhone video of someone that they can trust, and then they also want to
right.
see the premium level,
Oh,
cinematic,
okay.
like high end pictures, and then like low resolution is okay. Like you need to sort of
Right.
test these different elements.
Because then that makes you be real. You're a real person.
Yeah, that's all part of building the funnel, right? The funnel needs all of this different type of creative to convert the user, because they're looking at it in different times, and the stage of each user, of
Right,
exposure and awareness, like it has an effect as to
right.
how they're gonna purchase.
The know, like, and trust factor, right? Know, like, get to know you that way.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that's interesting. And it just seems like any business in today's existence has to have a social media footprint,
yeah,
right?
they do. They do. A lot of people get exposed by influencers, right? Where they're like, they follow this person that they trust, they see them using this and so forth and so on. So then they get interested, but then as they get interested, they need to then trust the brand. So then they're more likely to see sort of their branded creative, their
Hmm.
branded
Hmm.
approach, what's going to look more high end, more polished, or understand their storytelling. So yeah, just different elements in different stages to get the users to purchase.
Wow, yeah, it just sounds so complicated, and that's why you exist, right? You exist so that you can alleviate the complexity of it, and you can, the businesses can concentrate on what they do best, and
Exactly.
you guys can come in and exploit that in a good way.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, I always tell people we're not manipulating the user. We're
Mhm.
trying to manipulate these algorithms and these
Right,
digital systems, like to favor our products.
right. So as we wrap up our interview, what exciting plans do you have for the next 6 to 12 months?
Oh, well, um, yeah, Promix, we're trying to do a lot to expand, and I'm really excited about that. I also work with some other smaller brands which are in a startup phase, which is going really well. And building a community around your brand is really powerful. But what I'm most excited about currently right now is that the brand that I had the most success with, that I worked on gave it my all for 4 to 5 years of my life, is the California Beach Company and the Pop and Go playpen. I don't know if you've heard of the Pop and Go playpen, but we were very successful with it. We sold the company, and the kid, I can't believe it, but we're essentially going to be buying the company back and starting it not all over again, but just operating it ourselves again, me and the founders. And I'm really hopeful for that, because we did very well with that in the United States, and we never even expanded to other countries. And it's an innovative playpen that is portable and lightweight, and moms and dads can take it anywhere. They can take it on the beach or here, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And so it has its household brand appeal to it, and we got to a certain point to where we almost felt like we became a household brand. But I have the desire to build it up to actually become a household brand. And we just the pack and play with I'm sure you know of the pack and play with Graco. That's the number one playpen, I think, since the 60s.
Yeah.
And then I came up with the phrase. I said, "Why pack and play when you can pop and go?"
Okay. Yeah.
In a sense, we're like competing with the pack and play. And so I just hope to really expand the awareness about the Pop and Go playpen with the California Beach Company.
Wow, that's super exciting. Congrats on that. Yeah, and give it a go again.
Yeah, thank you.
So Chris, thanks for sharing all the insights on what you do, and how you're able to help businesses succeed and reach the next level. If somebody is listening to us and they'd like to get a hold of you, how could they do that?
I'm on LinkedIn or socials. I'm very active there. But my website is mcchammer.com with 2 C's. And just feel free to take a look and reach out to me. But I'm on LinkedIn and different platforms. And yeah, I'd love to connect, especially if you're in Orange County. I'd love to see you face to face as well.
There you go. There you go. Well, you heard it here. And thanks so much, Chris, for coming on. And to our audience, please go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you, Danny. It's been a pleasure.
Right. I'll record my last notes here. So what we'll do is we'll take about 3 weeks or so to publish, and we'll send you some shorts. So if you have social media presence, you can go ahead and post, make it super easy for you. And then secondly, what we do is we work with business owners such as yourselves in the alternative investment space in multifamily, where we're able to produce double-digit returns and great tax benefits. Is that something you'd like to take a look at and see what real estate investing looks like?
Not at the moment. I'm just a homeowner, and I don't have time to get into real estate outside of it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We sometimes some people are interested and sometimes not, but not a big deal.
Yeah, I wish I was, but yeah,
it's not for everybody. No, I get it. I get it. But nevertheless, like for us, it's good to know what you do. If we ever need any type of advertising for what we do to go online, we have you as a resource to be able to reach out and kind of explore that option for us too.
Sure thing, Danny.
All right, very good, Chris. Well, thanks for coming on. I enjoyed the stories and everything that you do.
Thanks, Danny. I appreciate it. It was good to connect with you, and yeah, it was a good time too.
All right, very good. All right, Chris. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Stay in touch. See you later.
Absolutely, sure.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.